Hello and welcome back to everyone, and a special welcome to all our new subscribers.
Great to be back.
If you're tuning in for more insightful discussions on health and wellness, well, you're definitely in the right place.
Absolutely.
Here on the Deep Dive, we try to take the information you need and deliver it in a way that's easy to understand and, hopefully even a little entertaining.
Yeah, cut through the noise a bit.
Exactly. And if you're interested in more deep dives like this one, especially into well-being, be sure to check out our Detox Health channel. We've got many more health-focused explorations planned.
Lots coming up there.
We know how, well, overwhelming it can be trying to sift through just tons of articles and websites trying to get a handle on a topic.
Oh, tell me about it. Information overload is real.
Right. And that's precisely why we're here to sort of do the legwork for you and bring you the key insights.
Think of it as your shortcut to being well-informed. These deep dives, they're designed to give you that core knowledge you need.
And today, we are tackling a subject that, honestly, might seem deceptively simple. Lemons and limes.
Ah, yes, the citrus cousins.
Most of us probably see them as, I don't know, interchangeable in a pinch, maybe just different colored sour fruits, something like that.
That's the common perception, yeah.
But after taking a good look at the info from sources like the Times of India, U.S. Citrus, and Medical News Today, it turns out these two have some surprisingly distinct personalities.
They really do. It's fascinating how things we see all the time can have these hidden depths. Yeah. They often end up side by side, but they are truly distinct.
Okay, so let's peel back those layers then, because my first thought was pretty much sour, yellow, green, what's the actual big deal? Clearly, I was missing something.
Well, let's start with the basics. Their botanical classification. Limes are Citrus Aurantifolia,
Okay.
while lemons are Citrus lima. So same family, citrus fruits, but different species, like different breeds of cat, maybe.
Got it. Different branches on the tree.
Exactly. And one difference you might notice right away is size. Lemons generally grow, well, quite a bit larger than your average lime.
That makes sense. Limes do feel smaller, more compact. And then the obvious one, color.
Can't miss that one. Limes are typically that vibrant green.
And lemons, that classic yellow. So much so we named the color after the fruit.
Precisely. But it's not just color. Look at their shape. Untreated limes, they tend to be rounder.
More like a little ball.
Yeah, kinda. Whereas lemons usually have that distinct oval shape, pointed at the ends sometimes.
Right, right. And the skin, I feel like I notice a difference when I'm zesting them.
You definitely would. Limes generally have a thinner skin, feels almost smoother sometimes. Lemons, on the other hand, they tend to have a thicker peel, often a bit more textured,
Yeah, you can feel that difference.
And that skin difference, thin versus thick, it can actually tie into another big distinction, the taste.
Ah, okay, the taste profile. They're both sour, no question.
Undeniably sour, yes. But how they're sour is different. Lime's generic taste is often perceived as, well, more sour than lemons.
More intense.
More intense, and often with this subtle bitter note underneath. That bitterness really makes it stand out in certain recipes.
I think I know what you mean, like in a margarita or certain Thai dishes. It has that specific kick.
Exactly, that singleazine, as you put it earlier. Lemon sourness is maybe a bit brighter, cleaner tasting, usually without that same bitterness.
Okay, interesting distinction. Now, what about the science behind the sourness, the acidity levels, the pH?
The pH. So both are definitely acidic, low pH values.
Makes sense.
But the evidence suggests limes are generally slightly more acidic. Their pH range is typically around 2.00 to 2.35.
Okay.
While lemons are more in the 2.0 to 2.60 range.
So a subtle difference on the scale, but limes edge slightly lower, meaning more acidic.
Generally, yes. It's not a huge gap, but it's measurable. And that tiny difference could maybe affect how well they tenderize meat in a marinade, for example.
Huh. Never thought about that. A practical kitchen implication. Speaking of the kitchen, storage, do they need different care?
They do, actually. Limes are best kept in the fridge. About 4 degrees Celsius is ideal.
Okay. Standard fridge temp.
Yeah, and try to use them within, say, 2 weeks. They don't last quite as long.
Good to know. That explains a few things in my crisper drawer. And lemons.
Lemons are more forgiving. You can keep them on the counter or in the fridge.
Oh, really? Counter's okay.
Yep. And they'll generally stay good for about 2 months either way. Much longer shelf life.
Wow. Okay. Much more resilient then. Good tip. Now let's talk health benefits. This is where they both really shine, right?
Absolutely. Our sources consistently highlight that both are rich in good antioxidants.
Which help fight cell damage.
Exactly. Protect against free radicals. And they even have noted anti-cancer properties, which is always promising. The research continues.
And the big one, vitamin C. Everyone knows citrus means vitamin C.
You bet. They're excellent sources. Vitamin C is crucial, acts as an antioxidant itself, helps the immune system,
Hmm.
boosts iron absorption from plants.
And it helps with healing, right? Collagen production.
Spot on.
Right.
Essential for collagen, which we need for wound healing, healthy skin, all that good stuff.
So a real multitasker vitamin. I also saw mention of flavonoids in the sources. What's the story there?
Flavonoids are interesting. They're phytochemicals, plant compounds. Think of them as sort of bonus health boosters
Hmm.
beyond the main vitamins.
Okay.
Research suggests they might benefit heart health, potentially help with metabolic disorders. There's also investigation into anti-inflammatory, anti-diabetic, even neuroprotective effects.
Wow. So lots of potential there.
Potential is the key word. More human studies are definitely needed to confirm the extent of these benefits, but they're certainly part of the package when you eat lemons or limes.
Good to know you're getting more than just Vit C. Now, speaking of vitamin C, I think one source mentioned lemons usually have more. Is that right?
That is generally true, yes. If you compare a typical lemon to a typical lime, the lemon tends to pack a bigger vitamin C punch.
Do we have numbers on that?
We do. Medical News Today broke it down. One average lemon, about 84 grams, has roughly 44.5 milligrams of vitamin C.
Okay. And a lime.
An average lime, about 67 grams, has around 19.5 milligrams.
Oh, okay. So that's actually quite a difference per fruit.
It is noticeable. So while both are good, if maximizing vitamin C is your specific goal, lemon has the edge.
That might explain why people reach for lemon tea when they're feeling under the weather.
Yeah.
That extra boost.
Could be part of it, yeah.
What about other nutrients? Are they pretty similar otherwise?
Largely, yes. Looking at calories, protein, fat, carbs, sugars, fiber, they're in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
They both offer minerals like calcium and potassium in comparable amounts, too. Given lemons are bigger, the absolute amounts might be slightly higher per fruit sometimes, but overall, nutritionally, they offer very similar benefits beyond that vitamin C difference.
So vitamin C is the main nutritional differentiator. Okay.
Yeah.
We talked pH, but what about citric acid content itself?
Another slight edge for lemons there, usually. Lemon juice contains around 48 grams of citric acid per liter on average.
Okay.
Lime juice is typically around 45.8 grams per liter. So again, a bit higher concentration in lemons.
Interesting. So lemon leads slightly on vitamin C and citric acid concentration. Let's shift to the kitchen how we actually use them day to day.
Right, the fun part. Both are culinary staples, obviously used for that strong sour flavor. Juice, chunks, slices.
Zest. Can't forget the zest. Love the smell when you zest them.
Oh yeah, the zest is amazing. Packed with those aromatic oils adds that bitter kick that's great in cooking and baking.
Absolutely. And they're foundational in sauces, marinades, dressings.
Totally. Our sources highlighted some classic pairings too. Lemon and thyme for chicken or fish. Classic.
That's a definite go-to for me. And the lime suggestion with garlic and chili powder for meats sounds fantastic.
Doesn't it? Really speaks to that different profile lime brings.
Yeah.
And beverages, of course.
Oh, yeah. Lemonade, limeade, a squeeze in water, tea.
Cocktails.
Yep.
Mojitos need lime, right? A Tom Collins needs lemon. They define certain drinks.
Definitely. Can't have a good gin and tonic without a proper wedge of lime, in my opinion.
Or lemon, depending on your preference.
Yeah.
See? Choices.
True. Okay, beyond eating and drinking, any other uses?
Well, that high acidity isn't just for taste. It makes them pretty effective antibacterial agents.
Ah, so that's why they're in cleaning products sometimes.
Exactly. You see citrus-based cleaners quite often.
Mm-hmm.
And lemon essential oil specifically has been studied for things like aromatherapy, potentially boosting mood,
Interesting.
and also for antimicrobial effects, and maybe even reducing skin inflammation when used topically, though carefully, of course.
So quite versatile outside the kitchen too, but are there any downsides or risks we should be aware of?
Generally, moderation is key, and they're very safe.
Yeah.
But the acidity, well, it can sting if you get it on a cut or sore in your mouth.
Ouch.
And for people prone to heartburn or GERD, that acid can sometimes aggravate symptoms.
Makes sense.
Also, over time, very high intake and direct contact can erode tooth enamel. So maybe rinse with water after having a lot of citrus juice.
Good dental hygiene tip.
And just common sense with cleaning products, even natural ones, handle them properly.
Right, okay. Now, the classic kitchen dilemma. You reach for a lemon, but you only have limes. Can you just swap them?
In many cases, yes, you can substitute the juice. You'll still get a citrusy tang.
But it won't be exactly the same.
Probably not exactly. Remember, lime juice is often more intensely sour, and it has that bitter note. It might change the final flavor profile a bit.
Is there a rule of thumb for substitution?
Yeah, one of our sources, U.S. Citrus, suggested a useful ratio.
Yeah.
If a recipe calls for 1 cup of lemon juice, you might want to use about 3/4 of a cup of lime juice to get a similar acidity level.
Oh, that's super helpful. Because lime is more potent, use less.
Basically, yeah. Adjust to taste, of course.
And it feels like different parts of the world favor one over the other in their cooking, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Limes are huge in Latin American cuisines. Southeast Asian food, ceviche, faux tacos. That bright, slightly bitter sourness is key.
Yeah, totally.
Whereas lemons feature heavily in Mediterranean cooking, a lot of European dishes. Maybe a slightly sunnier, less complex sourness often fits that style.
Well, they even have different culinary passports, in a way. Wow, this has been genuinely illuminating, more to it than just yellow and green.
Definitely. Two seemingly similar fruits, but with this whole range of subtle, yet pretty significant differences in taste, use, even a bit in nutrition.
Okay, let's try and recap the key takeaways for everyone listening. Lemons and limes. Both great citrus, lots of shared health benefits like antioxidants.
Right, but distinct. Appearance is different. Size, shape, color, skin thickness.
Taste lime, often more intensely sour, maybe a bitter note. Lemon brighter, less bitter.
Acidity limes generally a tiny bit more acidic based on pH. Lemons usually win on vitamin C content per fruit and slightly higher citric acid concentration.
Storage limes prefer the fridge and have a shorter shelf life. Lemons are tougher, last longer, counter or fridge.
And culinary uses often reflect regional preferences. Lime, common in Latin American, Southeast Asian. Lemon, more Mediterranean, European.
Phew, got it all. So here's something to think about.
Yeah, considering these differences, even the subtle ones, how might intentionally choosing lemon or lime elevate your next meal? Or maybe even fit into your wellness routine differently now you know about, say, the vitamin C difference?
That is a fantastic question to ponder. And look, if you found this deep dive into the world of lemons versus limes useful, head over to our Detox Health channel.
Please do.
Hit subscribe. We have lots more explorations into health and wellness topics coming your way, all designed to give you that core knowledge without the headache of doing all the research yourself.
We do the sifting, you get the insights.
Exactly. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive.